Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Back at you with a new video. Today is Wednesday, October 15th, 2025, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $ ORION NWSF or the YouTube super chat right here. We got the Toronto Blue Jays versus the Seattle Mariners. ALCS game number 3. First pitch is going to be here in roughly 8 minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into the starting lineups. Happy Wednesday, everyone. On the thumb, on the left, superstar stud at first base, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And on the right, our center fielder, superstar, Julio Rodriguez. And now let's get into the starting lineups here first for the visiting Toronto Blue Jays. Leading off for the Blue Jays at DH, George Springer. Batting second, playing left field tonight, Nathan Lucas. Batting third, playing first base, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, right fielder, Anthony Santander. Batting fifth, catching today for the Blue Jays, Alejandro Kirk. Batting sixth, playing center field, Dalton Varsho. Batting seventh, playing third base, Addison Barger. Batting eighth, playing second base, Ernie Clement. And batting ninth, playing shortstop, Andres Jimenez. And on the mound for the Blue Jays here today will be Shane Bieber. And now let's get into the starting lineups for your Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners in left field, Randy Arozarena. Batting second, catching today for Seattle, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Batting third, playing center field, Julio Rodriguez. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, second baseman, Jorge Polanco. Batting fifth, playing first base, Josh Naylor. Batting sixth, playing third base, Eugenio Suarez. Batting seventh, DHing today for Seattle, Dominic Canzone. Batting eighth, playing right field, Victor Robles. And batting ninth, playing shortstop, J.P. Crawford. And on the mound for the Mariners, one of our aces, you know who it is, George Kirby. Let's go, baby. We are ready. We're up 2-0 in the series. And, you know, obviously we were hoping that we were going to be able to win at least one game out of 2. But we stole game 1 essentially and won 3-1. The Bats came alive in game 2 and we obliterated the Blue Jays 10-3. You know, we've never been 2-0 up in an ALCS. We got the next 3 games potentially at home. They're at T-Mobile in Seattle. So obviously the key would to be try to win in a sweep, or at least by game 5. And again, we have a very good chance. If you guys have been paying attention with the Dodgers and the Brewers, the Dodgers are doing the same thing as the Seattle Mariners, just representing the National League. They went into Milwaukee's house in the first 2 games, beat them both times. And again, it kind of feels at this moment, you know, that the Dodgers and the Mariners are the 2 best teams in baseball. And the Brewers and Blue Jays are good, but they're just not as deep as the other 2 teams. And again, we are definitely kind of getting to a point where we may end up seeing a Mariners-Dodgers World Series. That would be crazy. Obviously, my dad has been a Dodger fan since the 50s. Again, they're pitching with Yamamoto and Blake Snell. I mean, really the only thing that I can see that we might have an advantage on, with the Dodgers is our bullpen is much better than theirs. Starting pitching is pretty even. The lineup top to bottom is pretty even. And that might be the one thing that could give the Mariners a slight edge late in games. But how the Dodgers will combat that if we end up getting a Mariners-Dodgers World Series, instead of their, pitching starters going, maybe 6 innings or 7, we know Dave Roberts will force those guys to go 8 innings. And again, if they're lights out, that might be the one way that the Dodgers end up going back-to-back, because they're so deep and they actually have the personnel to go 8 innings with their starting pitching. So we'll see how it all plays out. 2-0, Dodgers up on Milwaukee. They got the 3 games in Los Angeles. 2-0, Seattle up on Toronto. We got the next 3 games here at T-Mobile. And again, if the Mariners and Dodgers take care of business here in a few days, we'll have the announcement where we have potentially the Seattle Mariners versus the Los Angeles Dodgers. But we got to take care of Game 3 here today, Game 4 tomorrow, and I'm here for it, and I am ready. Now let's take a look to see who is in the building. And again, if you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 200 likes, 100 on the Dono train. And then we'll be shooting for 5 to 15 subs. Once we hit those initial goals, we'll go to our secondary goals as well. Tyler in the building. What's good? Susie in the building. Mike in the building. Let's go. JC. Daniel, how are you? Let's get it, baby. Bricks and joysticks in the building. Dio in the building. Right angle in the building. How are you? Andy Matt in the building. Larry in the building. What's good? TJ in the building. What's good? Bully in the building. What's good? Odin in the building. What's good? Yeah, not ideal if YouTube is having issues. Hopefully those will get fixed, obviously, as we go along here. And again, the game is on a global broadcast on FS1 as well. And I know there's, looks like there's some issues with the like button, obviously with YouTube having issues in general. So, keep trying to hit that like button if you haven't done it already. And hopefully those numbers will be reflected once YouTube ends up getting fixed if they're having issues globally with some problems with their system. And hopefully we don't have any problems here today. I am ready for this matchup, the Toronto Blue Jays versus the Seattle Mariners, ALCS game number 3. And hopefully everything will be linked up here. I tried refreshing to see if the scoreboard will get it done here automatically, and hopefully it will. Shane Bieber versus George Kirby. Let's go. All day in the building. What's good? Let's get it. Let's go. We have to battle through any issues internally that YouTube may be having. And And hopefully all the likes and subs and donos will be accurately reflected once they fix the issues. And again, hopefully there's nothing that ends up happening with us here tonight. Too big of a game. It means too much to Seattle Mariner fans. We have to make sure things end up hopefully going smoothly here tonight. All right, scoreboard looks like it's being reflected accurately. Let's go. All right, here we go. First pitch from Kirby to Springer. Takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. And hopefully we get a good outing out of George Kirby. We're going to need it. George Springer in the box. 0-1 pitch, grounds out to third. Gino is there. Throw to first. Naylor, and that is one away. Smooth as smooth can be, baby. Let's go. Next up, left fielder Nathan Lucas. Yeah, YouTube obviously is having some issues, I think, globally and whatnot. So the likes and some of the stats are not being reflected. But hopefully at some point it will update on its own once they fix it. Now, last time I checked it was at like 0 or 1, and I know we got more than that. First pitch takes a strike looking on the corner, 0-1 count. But if anyone refreshes the channel and you end up seeing that it has been changed, let me know so that way I can go from there. 0-1 pitch, fouls it off high and inside with a four-seam fastball by Kirby. No balls and 2 strikes to Nathan Lucas. Shanae in the building, what's good? O2 pitch, high and inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Nathan Lucas. Let's go, George. We need you, baby. One-two pitch, and Lucas strikes out swinging, and that is 2 away. There we go. George locking in early, and we like to see that electricity out of our pitcher right out of the gates. We want him to give up 0 to 2 runs here today. Now, a lot of the outings that we've had at T-Mobile have been low scoring, 1 to 3 runs. So hopefully we'll be able to get to that 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. And if we're able to do that, there is a good chance if we win today that, it could possibly be a blowout in game 4, just like it was close in game 1 and then a blowout in game 2. 1-0 pitch, fouls one off high and away. Nice sinker there by Kirby. 1 ball and 1 strike to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Jacob in the building. What's good? 100,000 users. Holy moly. That's a lot. That's like pretty much everyone that's working today. And a little slow dribbler there. Gino's got it. 360 off of 1 hopper, but Naylor can't handle it. And that goes into the dugout of the Mariners. Not ideal. Obviously, you want to be able to, try your best, but Gino with the error there, got to be cleaner. And Vlad gets on based off that error and wild throw as he gets ran over there by Vladdy. Don't try to get Naylor hurt out there, Gino. Next up, right fielder Anthony Santander, who had back tightness. So we ended up seeing Schneider come in and fill in. And obviously the lineup is better when Santander is in it. First pitch takes a strike looking high and away, 0-1 count. And I do apologize to any individuals that are having any issues on their end watching. Obviously, we know the likes have been affected here. So hopefully that'll get registered and start working shortly. But other than the like button maybe not working, I think that might be the only issue that we have at the moment, which is something I think we can manage. 0-1 pitch, high and inside with the sinker. 1 ball and 1 strike to Anthony Santander. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, high and away. 4-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour there by George Kirby. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at second and 2 outs. Santander in the box, George Kirby on the mound. Let them know all day. And again, for all the people that are in the room that hit the like button already, I'm not sure if that's going to register on YouTube's end from before, but always try again so that way we can get those numbers up, especially if there's issues there. 1-2 pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Santander. 2-2 pitch, and got him. There we go. Down goes Santander. And again, a great start for George Kirby. Great 2-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. And George Kirby is locked and loaded. Way to bring the electricity early. Nice job. Trident's up, seize the moment. And now let's see who's up next here for the Seattle Mariners. On the mound for the Blue Jays coming in will be Shane Bieber. Leading off for the Mariners in left field, Randy Arozarena. Batting second, catching today for the Seattle Mariners, Big Dumpa Cal Raleigh. And batting third, center fielder stud, Julio Rodriguez. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. YouTube is having errors today, but hopefully it'll work itself out. We'll be shooting for 200 likes, 100 on the dono train. 5 to 15 subs, and once we hit those goals, we'll continue forward. If you haven't been in the streams lately, or if you have, we just broke 5 million views a few days ago and 23,000 subscribers. So the next goal will be 25,000 subscribers. And obviously the next goal on the views is to go from 5 to 10 million. Shout out to every single person that has liked, sub, donated, commented, shared. I appreciate every single individual that has helped us get to this point. And we're just starting off. We got a long ways to go. Appreciate everyone's support. Love you and appreciate you. Okay, looks like it's showing 17 on the likes. So it looks like some of it is registering now. So if you did hit the like button earlier and it did not register, please try again. And again, it looks like it's starting to register the likes now. It wasn't doing it at the beginning of the stream. So again, a little bit of missed time there, in the first 18 minutes, but it does have 17 in there. So if you have liked the stream within the last few minutes, it looks like it's finally starting to register. So for the mods that are in the room, take that into notice, and then we can kind of go from there. We won't let a little error and a little outage, affect what's going to happen with us here today. Let's go. Trident's up, seize the moment. Let's go. There we go. Looks like it's starting to work finally. There we go. We got 264 in the room. So again, out of those 264, we can get the likes now. It's finally working. First pitch from Bieber to Randy, low and away with the 4-seam fastball. 93 miles an hour by Bieber Fever, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, low and away. Another 4-seam fastball missing. That one paints the corner but doesn't get the call. 2 balls and no strikes from Bieber to Arozarena. 2-0 pitch, takes a strike looking high and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike to Randy Arozarena. 2-1 pitch, high and inside. We're already having a mini meltdown out of Bieber. I like that. 3 balls and 1 strike to Randy Arosarena, and just being able to get guys on base early based on getting plunked, as long as their guys don't get hurt, walked, that way we have an opportunity to move guys over and steal some bags. And you never know where you might end up getting that early home run by Cal or Julio to get us a big early 2-0, 3-0, or maybe even a 4-0 lead in the first 2 innings. Let's go. NC Jolly with a tenner to get us started. Appreciate that. Stacks. Racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. We're at 10. 90 to go. Appreciate you. First pitch to big dumper Cal Raleigh. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. 0-1 count. AK in the building. What's good? 0-1 pitch. Fouls that one off high and inside with a cutter and kind of jams him there. No balls and 2 strikes from Bieber to Raleigh. Let's go, Cal. Trident's up. Seize the moment. Bottom of the first inning. Runner at first. Randy with the walk. Pitches low and at the knees with the knuckle curve by Bieber Fever. Shane Bieber. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at first and no outs here early in ALCS game number 3. And again, the Mariners are showing that, we can win on the road here in the postseason, and we are the deeper, better team. Same thing goes with the Dodgers and the Brewers going to Milwaukee, in those first 2 games and showing how good Blake Snell and, Yamamoto really are. And again, if we can advance and the Dodgers advance, it's going to be a hell of a World Series if that's what we get. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees with the slider missing, 86 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes to big dumper Cal Raleigh. And obviously we have to take it one game at a time, but I do think we match up very well to Los Angeles if we were to play them. We got a better bullpen than them. Everything else is pretty even, based off starting lineup, pitching, and everything else. Obviously Roberts has got more experience than Dan Wilson, so they got that going, but our bullpen is night and day better than what Los Angeles has at the moment. They'll have to pitch 8-9 innings with their guys, to kind of combat the struggles they've had in the pen against especially a team like Seattle. And pitch gets popped up and out there in foul territory. Randy has to hustle back and gets back to first safe. Not exactly what we wanted there, but again, hopefully we can get something out of Cal before the game is up. Next up is Julio Rodriguez. Got us going really early, obviously in game 2 with that 3-run jack. Let's see if Julio can get us on the board here again. Trident's up, seize the moment. Yeah, and pretty wild that they did not have Cal available, for best defensive catcher. He didn't have a pass ball in the regular season and not even in one of the top 3 finalists. So things are obviously biased when they don't even have Cal Raleigh in the category, who is one of the better defensive catchers in the game. But, it is what it is. First pitch. And Randy gets in there safe. Good stolen bag by Randy. And if you remember, earlier in the series, not only just against the Tigers, but the Blue Jays, Randy is one of those guys that can steal from first to second, second to third, and put us in a really good position for an RBI single for those guys in the middle of the lineup if we can get to that point. Nice job by Randy. Bottom of the first inning, runner at second now with 1 out. 0-1 pitch, high and inside to Julio Rodriguez. 1 ball and 1 strike to J-Rod. Let's go. I mean, really, the only other thing that I think would make a lot of us happy is if we can actually play small ball and bunt at some point in the game. I mean, I'm not saying that we need to bunt 2 or 3 times. Back. See ya! Julio Rodriguez does it again, and he goes yard. Oh, my God. It is unbelievable. You ask for a home run, you get a home run. Wow! 2-0 Mariners. Julio homers to left, 414 feet with Randy on board. I am loving it. 2-0 Seattle. Unbelievable. Let's go. And again, all of that, criticism that we had, early on in the season, was deserved. But again, if you're watching baseball, right, there's not too many players that play like Julio and Polo. Ground rule double into the front row. Unbelievable. We are hot. Let's go. Let's go. Unbelievable. Seattle Mariners doing it early and often. Julio with a 2-run blast with Randy on board with a walk, and he steals second. And Polo always reminds us, hey, I might not hit home runs every time I'm out here like Julio Rodriguez, but I also am going to come up big with plays as well. And again, nobody's playing better baseball than Polo. He is Mr. October. Let's go. Let's go. Unbelievable. Dio with a tour. Appreciate you. Another $2 holla on the Dono train. Next up is Josh Naylor as he fouls one off with that knuckle curve by Bieber. Let's go. 2-0 early, and this is the last thing that, Toronto needed. They needed us to score late in the game, and they needed to jump on us early and often. Not so fast. We are the Seattle Mariners. Tridents up, seize the moment, just like Ichiro said, and guess what? We are. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees with the knuckle curve again. 1 ball and 1 strike from Bieber to Naylor. Let's go. Reflect with the fiver. Appreciate you. Another $5 holla on the Dono train. Second straight game with a first inning home run. Julio Rodriguez, there's nobody better at center field than you. And again, there's going to be guys that play better than him during the first half of the year, but no one's going to play better in the second half of the year than Julio Rodriguez. And again, once he figures out how to do it in the first half, we're going to get 40-40, 50-50 type of seasons out of Julio at some point. 40 home runs, 40 stolen bags, maybe even 50 home runs and 50 stolen bags at some point before he retires. That is an exciting thing to think about. 1-1 pitch, fouls off, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Josh Naylor. Let's go. I mean, every single thing that we needed to have happen is already happening. Unbelievable. Pitches low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Bieber to Naylor. But again, if you watched, the Dodgers and the Brewers, I watched both of those games beginning to end. It's very clear. The Blue Jays and the Brewers are amazing teams, but they're not better than the Mariners and Dodgers right now. They're just not. They don't have the depth. They don't have the pitching. They don't have the bullpen. And right now our hitters are unreal. And there goes Josh Naylor's bat, and that's a strikeout. That's unfortunate. But again, let's see what we can get out of Gino here up next. We still love you, Nails. Next up is third baseman Eugenio Suarez, who is due for a home run. Could we end up getting a Gino home run at some point here today or tomorrow? There is a good possibility. And again, I know we don't want to talk, and jinx and, too far ahead, talk World Series. But again, we are up 2-0, and again, we won 2 games in Toronto. There's 3 games in Seattle. I think it is a realistic conversation. Same thing with the Dodgers. They won 2 games in Milwaukee. They got 3 in LA. It's definitely looking and pointing that this could be the World Series. 1-0 pitch, fouled off, 1 ball and 1 strike to Eugenio Suarez, but we will take it pitch by pitch, inning by inning, game by game. But I like the way that things are starting to play out here in the ALCS and the NLCS for the Mariners and the Dodgers. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss by Gino. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at second and 2 outs. Bieber on the mound and Gino in the box. Good vibes only, baby. Let's go. 1-2 pitch, and Gino pops out to the shortstop, and that is the end of the inning. but not after the damage was done. And again, that's why it's so important, to have a leadoff hitter that can get plunked, force walks, be patient, and then get on base. And if you can end up getting on base, imagine if Cal were to end up getting on base, that would have been a 3-run homer again by Julio Rodriguez, just like in the last matchup. But again, every game is going to be a little bit different, based off pitcher and style. But one thing is for sure, no one can deny Julio Rodriguez is locked in and playing better than any outfielder in the playoffs right now, and it's not even close. And again, we have to be so thankful that we got a guy like Julio, but not just him. Not only do we got the best catcher in the game in Cal Raleigh, we got the best player in October in Jorge Polanco. They don't have answers for us, and I'm loving what I'm seeing. End of the first inning, 2-0 Mariners. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Let's see who's up next here for the Blue Jays in the top of the second. Next up for the Blue Jays in the 5-hole, catcher Alejandro Kirk. Batting second, center fielder in the 6-hole, Dalton Varsho. And batting third in the 7-hole, third baseman Addison Barger. And on the mound, one of our aces, it is George Kirby. Let's go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 200 likes, 100 on the dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's go. YouTube did have some issues earlier today, and our likes were not being adjusted, but it looks like the subs are now being adjusted as well as the likes. And we gained a few so far. 4 subs since the game started. Thank you to the 4 new subs. And now we only need 74 subs to get to 23,100. We just broke 23,000 subs a couple days ago. We broke over 5.1 million views just a few days ago. So that's because of you guys, the amazing fans. And obviously we've had some crazy growth, and it's not just because, the Seattle Mariners are doing great. We've been definitely working very, very hard, but that definitely has a big part of it. Having the Mariners and the Ducks and the Buccaneers and a lot of the teams that we're, covering here on the channel being, championship caliber. And again, every time the Mariners can, be successful like this, and that I'm going to be digging in, for every single pitch, every single inning, every single game, we're definitely going to be blessed, by the growth. And again, I appreciate every single one of y'all very, very much. First pitch from Kirby to Alejandro Kirk, high and away, 1-0 count. Kirk in the box, George Kirby on the mound. Where are we sitting at on the likes right now with the mods in the room? Where are we sitting? I know we had an error there in the first 15 to 18 minutes as well as in the pre-show. 1-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Alejandro Kirk. Coach in the building, what's good? Dave in the building, what's good? Bob in the building, what's good? 2-0 pitch, takes a strike looking high and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike to Alejandro Kirk. We got 406 in the room, so I think everything is working now. So now we just need to play a little bit of catch up. And a nice line drive right to Josh Naylor, and that is 1 away. Next up is Dalton Varsho. Let's go, George. Great defense there by Josh Naylor. Josh Naylor doing Josh Naylor things there at first. First pitch, high and away, takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. Melissa in the building, how are you? Anyone that's at work or that's a little bit busy, I got you, no worries. Pitch fouled off right down the middle with a sinker, 95 miles an hour by George Kirby. No balls and 2 strikes to Dalton Varsho. Top of the second, 2-0 Seattle. Usually I'll be in the peak position on YouTube. I'll be in the top spot, 99.99% of the time. So 0-2 pitch and fouled out at first. And that is 2 away. But if there's any reason where I'm not the top selection, obviously YouTube had some issues, obviously today. So hopefully they get all the bugs and the errors cleaned up and we'll be good to go, obviously, the rest of the night. Next up for the Toronto Blue Jays in the top of the second with 2 away, 7-hole hitter, third baseman Addison Barger. First pitch from George Kirby, high and away with that sinker, 96 miles an hour, 1-0 count. One-0 pitch, high and inside, four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour missing, 2 balls and no strikes to Addison Barger. Two-0 pitch in play, popped up and flied out to center. Julio Rodriguez there in the no-fly zone. 3 up and 3 down. I'm liking what I'm seeing. 2-0 Seattle. Nice job, Julio. And it always makes you feel good when you got somebody out there in center field that you got the utmost trust in. Let's go. Let's see who's up next here for the Mariners in the bottom of the second inning. And let's see if we can add on a few more runs here on Shane Bieber Fever. Bieber on the mound, and he'll be facing here in the bottom of the second inning. 7-hole hitter DHing Dominic Canzone, who is due for a Dom bomb. Batting second, right fielder Victor Robles, another individual that is due for a home run or a big ground rule double or big play. And batting third in the 9-hole, shortstop J.P. Crawford, another individual that is due for a home run or a big play momentarily. Let's go, baby. Let them know, Eli. There was an error with YouTube early for the people that were waiting in the pre-show, and the likes were not registering in the first 15 minutes, but it looks like it's working now. So if we can get everyone in the room that hasn't hit the like button yet, takes 1 second during a commercial break, and that'll help get those numbers up. And once we end up getting those numbers to 100 and 200, then obviously it'll give more individuals that are looking on YouTube for Mariners, Blue Jays, or an MLB stream, they'll be able to end up finding us, which will lead to potentially more subs, more views, more cool people that we can add to the channel, more fanatics. And I appreciate that very, very much. And it doesn't have to be just the mods. It can be the regulars like Eli and the others helping us get to our numbers here today. Appreciate you guys very, very much. Gained 5 more subs since the last commercial break. 69 to go to 23,100. Appreciate every single one of y'all that have liked, sub, donated, commented, shared. Appreciate you guys very, very much. First pitch from Shane Bieber to Dominic Canzone. Takes a strike looking high and away. 0-1 count. Change up 88 miles an hour by Shane Bieber. I'm glad you found me as well. JC says we're at 95, and we got 413 in the room. Just a little bit more support by the regulars, and I know the regulars and the mods in the room can help us get to those numbers. 0-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking low and away. No balls and 2 strikes to Dominic Canzone. 0-2 pitch. Big strike 3 on Dom, and that is 1 away. And hopefully Dom will be able to get going at some point in the matchup. Big swing and a miss by Dom. 1 away. Next up, right fielder Victor Robles. Let's go, Victor. Bieber on the mound. Robles in the box. Third in MLB in regular season home runs. Second in MLB. 50% of runs via the home run. 238 home runs overall. So we know that we can hit that long ball, and we definitely, rely on it as well. 0-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes to Victor Robles. So my buddy is an up-and-coming producer, here in the Pacific Northwest, and these are kind of like a private file that he hasn't released just yet. But I obviously am his friend, and we have access to this, obviously, music with his permission. And when it ends up dropping at one point or another, I will be able to let individuals know. A lot of his stuff will be on SoundCloud and other platforms as well, with all his different social media that he's on. But the app that I'm using to listen to his stuff is called Untitled, and it has a lot of his tracks on there, but he hasn't released the 50 so tracks just yet. So he's kind of making a library of music, usually on the daily. So 1-0 pitch, takes a strike, swinging high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to JP Crawford. So we are pretty much the exclusive spot to be able to listen to everything that he comes up with. And I will always be supporting my friends that have dreams and goals like myself. Incredibly talented artist and beat maker. And again, we will definitely continue to shout him out. Brooks Beats, the best beats on YouTube. 1-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike to JP Crawford. Elliot in the building, what's good? Jordan in the building, what's good? Two-one pitch, high and away with that knuckle curve, missing by Bieber. 3 balls and 1 strike to JP Crawford. Bottom of the second inning, 2-0 Mariner lead. But once I get the information available where, he ends up putting out, a certain amount of kind of like a playlist and whatnot, and what he wants to release to the public, I'll be able to pass that on. And JP strikes out swinging, and that is out number 3. Nice job there by Bieber on having a pretty clean inning after giving up 2 by Julio Rodriguez with a 2-run jack in the first. And let's see who's up next here in the top of the third for the Toronto Blue Jays. .78 to go to hit that Dono goal. And I know we had some errors with YouTube. We got 401 in the room. The faster that we can get to 100 and then 200, then we'll be able to hit those higher numbers on the channel. Let's go. And we gained 4 more subs since the last commercial break. 65 subs to go to 23,100. We just broke 23,000 recently. 5.1 million views on the channel. Next goal, 10. And appreciate every single one of y'all. End of the second inning, 2-0 Mariners. And if you're just tuning in, Randy ended up getting walked. Julio came up and hit a big bomb, 414 feet, smoked it into left field. And that's how we have a 2-0 lead. Next up for the Blue Jays in the 8-hole, second baseman Ernie Clement. Batting second in the 9-hole, shortstop Andres Jimenez. And back at the top of the order, 0 for 1, DHing George Springer. On the mound for the M's, one of our aces, George Kirby. Appreciate that, Jay. Appreciate that, Thomas. Yeah, and obviously, Indiana's a great team. I wasn't really that surprised that Oregon lost. I actually kind of had a feeling that they were. When you go against a team that is top 10 in offense, top 10 in defense, top 10 in special teams, and they're the only team in college football that's top 10 in all 3 categories, I had a feeling that it was going to be a long day for Dante Moore and, if we had turnovers, that was going to be the death of us. And, we had 1 sack all year. We gave up 6 in that Indiana game. So I kind of knew, but it's also good to be able to get a loss out of the way during the regular season against a team that's better than you at that point, rather than going 12-0 like last year, having 3 weeks off and then getting absolutely obliterated due to lack of chemistry, because you have that time off by obviously Ohio State. So if that means that we lose a game or two, we might even lose against Washington in Seattle in the last regular season game. That's going to be a hell of a game with the Huskies and the Ducks. As long as they make the tourney, anything can happen. But again, it's been a pretty wild year in college football, as well as the NFL, and obviously here in MLB. First pitch to Ernie Clement by Kirby, and gets a big double to left. Andrew with a 5er. Appreciate you. Andrew with a $5 holla. And we know what happens when that ball goes to Randy's area. Hold your breath. And that's a big double there from Ernie Clement. We got to prevent them from scoring here. Next up is Andres Jimenez. But it's the first time that I've had, all 3 of my, favorite teams be championship worthy, with the Mariners obviously at the top, the Ducks and the Buccaneers being the number 1 team in the NFL right now. That's pretty wild. Baker is an MVP candidate. And, again, I can't wait to see how everything plays out for the Mariners and the other teams here on the channel. First pitch fouled off right down the middle, 0-1 count. I mean, even the Kraken and the Blazers look like they have potential this year. And I always watch the Huskies, when they are, balling out on Saturdays. And I wish them the best of luck as well. They look very good. Top of the 3rd inning, 2-0 Mariners. And back, gone. Andres Jimenez into right field, 399 feet with Clement on board. And just like that, we have a 2-2 tie. Wow. Now, hopefully that'll be the only home run that George Kirby gives up. At some point, you knew the Blue Jays were going to be able to get the bat going. I'm not sure if we anticipated it being the 9-hole hitter that was going to do the damage against us. Nice job by Andres Jimenez. George, brush yourself off. It's okay. 2-2 tie here in the top of the 3rd. I'm a defensive-oriented fan, and the Seahawks didn't have defensive players in the mid-'90s that I could connect with. So I was more of a Sapp, Derek Brooks, John Lynch, Rondé Barber, Mike Allstott kind of guy. And again, I've been a fan of the Bucs since 95 for 30 years. So now if the Seahawks had the Legion of Boom in the mid-'90s, yeah, I probably would have been a Hawk fan, but that wasn't the case. First pitch, high and inside, 1-0 count. But all the teams that I root for are in Oregon or Washington, except the Buccaneers. And if I was an offensive fan, I probably would be a Hawk fan, but I'm a defensive-oriented kind of guy, and they just didn't have the connection for me back when I was 13. 1-1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes to George Springer. Yeah, I live in Oregon, so hence why I root for the Ducks and the Blazers. But I do like the Kraken and obviously the Mariners. And, when you end up meeting Ken Griffey Jr. when you're 7, it definitely changes your life forever. Let's go, George. You got to settle in. Top of the 3rd. We're tied up at 2. 1-2 pitch in play. And that is popped up and flied out into right field. Victor into the wall. Holy shit. I hope he's okay. And again, Randy would never even dream about doing something like that. Unbelievable. Great effort there. I'm glad that Victor didn't get hurt and there's plenty of padding there, but having to jump into the padding to get that out, that's commitment, baby. And I love it. And we needed that too. Down goes Springer, 1 away. We need to stop the bleeding. Next up, left fielder Nathan Lucas. First pitch, low and away, 1-0 count with that slider by Kirby. 1-0 pitch, fouled it off right down the middle with the slider, 87 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kirby to Lucas. 2-2 tie here early in the top of the 3rd. And we've had 2 two-run jacks, one by Julio, one by Andres Jimenez, and we have ourselves a ball game. We're going to have to continue to keep putting the pressure on. 1-1 pitch and a single up the middle towards Julio Rodriguez. Come on, George. George is starting to have a little bit of a mini meltdown here. Nice hit there by Nathan Lucas. Next up, first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I mean, I love players that play defense. It doesn't matter if it's in the NBA, the NHL, the MLB, the NFL, the college football team. You know, if you play defense and you're a two-way player, I'm going to have so much more respect, you know, than someone like, for example, with like Randy, where he's good at pop-ups, but his ground ball game is absolutely terrible, as well as his hop. And then his throw into the infield, he lobs, doesn't throw lasers like Victor and Julio. And again, you know, those little things, you know, sometimes you can teach. Sometimes, I guess, for certain guys, maybe you can't. But, you know, I really do appreciate guys that put everything on the line, including their bodies, like Victor Robles early in the year. And again, you know, it was a damn shame that we missed Victor for a good chunk. But I'm so happy that he's back and playing with us on this run. Dan Fouts, nice. First pitch, high and away with the sinker, 96 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Now Victor is good. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Top of the third, 2-2, Blue Jays and Mariners. Kirby on the mound, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in the box. One pitch in play. Vladdy. Oh no, it's towards Randy. Off the wall. Hustle, Randy. And now we got runners at second and third. And again, we haven't had too many balls hit to Randy. And again, more balls that get to hit the Randy's area. It's going to be harder for us to be able to, you know, make plays unless all of them end up being pop-ups. But if anything ends up being a ground ball or a deflection off a wall, you know, you have to definitely hold your breath a little bit. Now we got runners at second and third with 1 out. Next up is Anthony Santander. Stop the bleeding. Come on, George, take a breath. We do need a mound visit from Cal to kind of settle him down. Hopefully when, you know, not too late by the time that we're down. And hopefully we can settle in here. Next up is Anthony Santander that missed game 2 with back tightness. He was a late scratch. First pitch, big swing and a miss on the four-seam fastball. 96 miles an hour by George Kirby, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kirby to Santander. One pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike from Kirby to Santander. I mean, it's never too late for a mound visit. You can have a mound visit at any point. Obviously, if we could have had that mound visit a little bit earlier, you know, maybe, you know, the home run doesn't happen, but it kind of felt like it was going to happen anyways. But maybe it would have been able to prevent one of these 2 guys that have gotten on base, and maybe we would have been able to get out of the inning. But, you know, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Normally Cal calls time at the right time, so we have to just have some faith in George. Pitch fouled off behind the plate there by Anthony Santander, the former Baltimore Oriole. 2 balls and 2 strikes with runners at second and third and 1 out. We need a strikeout and a pop-up or some kind of double play if we could get it here. 2-2 pitch. Low and away with the slider. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Anthony Santander. Santander in the box. George Kirby on the mound. Come on, George. 3-2 pitch, and Santander grounds out to first, thank God. And Naylor keeping an eye on the runners at second and third, and they have to stay put. 2 away. There we go. One more out, baby. One more out. Next up for George Kirby is Alejandro Kirk. 0 for 1 so far. First pitch, high and away. Sinker, 97 miles an hour by George Kirby, 1-0 count. Top of the third inning, 2-2 tie. Andres Jimenez with a 2-run jack after Julio had one in the first, but now they have runners at second and third and are threatening with 2 outs. Let's keep them there. 1-0 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Alejandro Kirk. Trident's up. Let's go, M. Seize the moment. We got to earn it. Every single pitch, every single out. Top of the third inning with runners at second and third and 2 outs. 2-0 pitch, low and at the knees, low and away. 3 balls and no strikes from Kirby to Kirk. Come on, George. George is starting to lose a little bit of his location here, and he usually doesn't have all that top-end speed all the time, and there'll be some pitches that'll go 95, 97, but he needs to calm down and settle in here. 3-0 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle, thank God. 3 balls and 1 strike to Alejandro Kirk. Three-one pitch, and now we got bases loaded with 2 outs. Ay, ay, ay. Come on, George. You've already given up the 2-run blast. We want to make sure we win this game. Don't blow it for us. Next up is Dalton Varsho. Got to find a way to get Varsho out and keep all 3 runners stranded. Let's go. Come on, George. I believe we can get this last out. I mean, you know, all our starting pitchers, you know, going from, you know, Kirby to Gilbert to Wu, you know, who obviously has been injured for a little bit, and Castillo and Miller, you know, at times will look electric and lights out, and at times will have mini meltdowns. But it's just, you know, how much of a meltdown are you going to have, and can you get yourself out of it? And again, you know, just to keep it at 2 would be great. First pitch, low and at the knees, 1-0 count. And thankfully, Cal gets that off the deflection, so that doesn't bring a runner home. Good job by Cal Raleigh. Who says that Cal isn't one of the top 3 defensive catchers in the game? Shame on them for not putting him in the top 3. But he can use that as extra motivation. Top of the third inning, 2-2, Blue Jays and Mariners with bases loaded and 2 outs. And obviously Kirby looked good early in the first inning, but obviously here in the third, having a little bit of a mini meltdown. 1-0 pitch. And a wild pitch. And the Blue Jays score. Unbelievable. Come on, George. 3-2 Toronto. And again, no one said it was going to be easy today. You know, again. And he's definitely getting in his own head. And hopefully Cal can have a mound visit, because George is all over the place. And obviously, you know, Varsho's swing had something to do with that, with Cal trying to get that and got on the lip of the glove. Not ideal. Come on, George. Shave that fucking mustache. Focus. And Varsho crushes it into right field, off the wall. And that's going to bring in another run and another. 5-2 Blue Jays. Fuck. Jesus Christ, George. We got to make sure our bats, you know, come to match. You know, again, not what you wanted to typically see, and hopefully we can have a meltdown by one of their guys in the pen to make up for this. But again, not what you expect from a guy at home that normally is locked in. But again, the Blue Jays probably said the same thing with their two best starters. You know, they thought that they were easily going to win the first two games. Not so fast. And Barger in play, grounds out to second. And that was a little too late, Mariners. Now we're down 5-2. Great job, George. What the fuck? And again, I mean, everyone's human, you know, and whatnot, but that's not what we anticipated from George Kirby starting. If it was going to be like this, maybe we should have started Andres or Luis Castillo instead, and then had Kirby go in game 4. But it is what it is. Now we just have to battle and we have to fight. We knew this was going to be a war. And again, we have the next 3 games at T-Mobile. The game isn't over. It's 5-2. And now we just got to make sure that we continue to hit home runs, get on base, steal bags, bunt, and do whatever it takes to be able to tie this game up. Let's see who's up next here. And let's try to get to 3 within this inning or in the 4th. We have to chip away unless we can have a monster inning like the Blue Jays just had, where they had 5 in the 3rd. Let's go. And a lot of the guys that are due for a home run, we need one desperately. Next up, 0 for 0 with a run and a base on ball, a walk in his first at bat. We would love for you to go yard. We need it. Randy Arozarena. Batting second, 0 for 1. We might need you to do one of these. Big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And batting third, 1 for 1 with a run with 2 ribbies already, Julio Rodriguez. And we might need Julio to have a multi-homer game to get back in this as well. Let's go, Randy. Let's go, Cal. Let's go, Julio. Where are we at on the likes? Can we get an update on where we're at with that? We gained 5 more subs since the last commercial break. 60 to go to get to 23,100. 9 more to 150. We got 440 in the room. We should be closer to 2 at this point. Let's go, TJ. Appreciate you. And we can get some other individuals in the room that are regulars to help out as well. The more individuals that will, break out and mention it, it'll help those individuals do the simple deed of hitting that like button that takes 1 second, and then you can move on. Bottom of the 3rd inning, 5-2 Blue Jays. And again, the Mariners struck first with a Julio Rodriguez homer to left, 414 feet, 2-0 Seattle. But then they had 5 runs in the 3rd. Unacceptable, George. You had a Jimenez homer to right center with Clement on board, 2-2. Lucas scored, Kirk to second, Guerrero Jr. to third on a wild pitch by Kirby, unacceptable. And then Varsho doubled to right with Guerrero scoring and Kirk scoring, making it 5-2. First pitch from Bieber to Randy, takes a strike looking high and away, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Takes another strike looking low and away on the corner. No balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. 0-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. And down goes Randy on 3 pitches. Unacceptable, Randy. Come on. 1 away. Next up is big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go, Cal. We need you, baby. Single, double, triple, home run. Anything that can get us on the board. First pitch, big swing and a miss on the changeup from Bieber. 0-1 count. It's way too early. I mean, we have to wait to see if they can have a meltdown or 2 out of their bullpen. 0-1 pitch, grounds out and pops out to second, and that is 2 away. Kino with a 10er. Appreciate you. Let's go, M's. Let's go, baby. Appreciate you. Let's get it. Next up is Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, Julio. First pitch to Julio Rodriguez, takes a strike looking high and away from Shane Bieber. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, knuckle curve, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Julio Rodriguez. Bottom of the third inning, 5-2 Blue Jay lead with a 5-run third inning by Toronto. Unacceptable. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike swinging, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Monkey with a 20. Let's go. Appreciate you. Another $20 holla on the Dono train. We believe. 1-2 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. And remember, we have the next 3 games here at T-Mobile, And again, it would have been great if we just dominated 4 games in a row and swept them. But again, the Blue Jays, got to this point for a reason. And Rodriguez with an infield single to third. There we go. Nice job by Julio. We're great with 2 outs. And remember, we're great in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And a great job by Julio Rodriguez running with some hustle. Nice job, J-Rod. J-Rod's doing his job. What about everyone else? Let's go. We know Polo's doing his job as well with that ground rule double. And if there was ever a moment that we needed an RBI or a 2-run jack by Polo, it's fucking right now. Let's go, Polo. Bring that electricity. Let's make this game 5-4 Blue Jays. First pitch, takes a strike looking high and away. 0-1 count. 322 average, 11 home runs. Polo has been Mr. October. Bieber on the mound, Polo in the box. Bottom of the third, 5-2 Blue Jay lead. Come on, Polo. 0-1 pitch, popped out into center field to Varsho, and that is the end of the third inning. But at least we got somebody on, and hopefully we'll be able to strike and chip away in the 4th inning and get at least a run net. Let's see who's up next here in the top of the 4th for the Toronto Blue Jays. Next up for the Blue Jays, 1-for-1 with a run, second baseman Ernie Clement. Batting second, 1-for-1 with a run, 2 ribbies, and that 2-run jack, Andres Jimenez. And batting third, 0-for-2, DHing back at the top of the order, leading off George Springer. Come on, George. We're at 57:43 to go to hit the Dono goal. Now let's take a quick look to see what our sub count is as well. Gained another 3 subs since the last commercial break. 57 subs to go to 23,100. Let's go. Man, especially when you end up having, one of your strong pieces, you never want to see them have a meltdown or a mini meltdown for that matter. And remember, we've had 4 out of our 5 starters hurt this year. That could end up being a blessing in disguise. Same thing with the Dodgers. They had a lot of injuries, but they've been able to heat up at the right time. And, they had a chunk of the season where they were hitting kind of a wall and they were like 500. And now we know the Dodgers in the last 28 games are like 22-6. So it shows you, everyone's human. Injuries happen to everyone. But if you have the depth of these star players, it'll end up, showing itself, at some point. And just very unfortunate that Kirby wasn't locked in, but also you have to give credit to the Blue Jays. It's not just George is terrible today. The Blue Jays are a good team, and for them to not hit 3 games in a row, would be unlikely. At some point, whether it would have been on George or our bullpen, you had to assume at some point in game 3 or game 4 that they were going to put up 5 to 10 runs. And then it's up to our offense to be able to match that. You know, we're not going to win every game 3-1, and we're definitely not scoring 10 runs every game either, like we did in game 2. So again, you know, not ideal, you know, by George Kirby, but again, it is what it is. And now we just have to try to dig him out of the hole he put us in, and hopefully the offense can do that. First pitch from Kirby to Clement, low and away with the sinker, 1-0 count. But we've seen everyone have meltdowns. Wu, Gilbert, Kirby, Castillo, and Miller, including some other guys, you know, like Logan Evans and Emerson Hancock that had to fill in temporarily. So everyone's human, you know, we get that. But again, not ideal in the ALCS, game 3, you know, with a chance for us to be able to go up 3-0. We still have a chance to come back. There's no doubt about that. 2-0 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. 2 balls and 1 strike to Ernie Clement. Two-one pitch, low and away. Count now is 3 balls and 1 strike to Ernie Clement. You know, it's just like our bullpen. We've seen our bullpen be lights out. We've also seen our bullpen be shitty. So, you know, every day is a different day to prove yourself. And again, we definitely got in the hole here today. 3-1 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Ernie Clement. 3-2 pitch, and Clement strikes out looking. There we go, George. Nice job. Way to be able to get a little bit of electricity back. And that is 1 away. Next up is Andres Jimenez. First pitch, takes a strike looking, low and away. 0-1 count. I mean, the same thing goes for the Brewers against the Dodgers. You know, you would assume at some point that their bats will start to light up as well. Now, we know Snell and Yamamoto are insane, you know, especially in the postseason. But at some point, you know, if they got Mizorowski on the mound, you would assume that the batters will step up for him at some point. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, low and at the knees. Nice pitch there with the knuckle curve by George. No balls and 2 strikes to Andres Jimenez. Come on, Kirby. 0-2 pitch, fouled off with that knuckle curve again. Low and at the knees. No balls and 2 strikes to Andres Jimenez. Top of the 4th inning, 5-2 Blue Jays. Oh-2 pitch, fouls it off right down the middle. Out of play with that sinker, 96 miles an hour. 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, low and away. George starting to lock in. There we go. Nice job by Kirby with another punch out there. Way to bring some electricity back. Down goes Clement on a K. Down goes Jimenez on a K. Next up is George Springer. Let's see if he can do the trifecta here. Come on, George. In play. Back. See ya. And George Kirby gives up a solo dinger to George Springer. Unbelievable. 6-2 Blue Jays. Come on, George. You're really putting us in a hole here in game 3. And this is definitely the worst that we've seen George Kirby be in quite some time. But again, you do have to give some credit to the Blue Jay hitters. You knew at some point that they, were going to come alive. And they definitely brought the bats here in game 3 in Seattle. Next up is Nathan Lucas. We got to get out of this inning now. First pitch, low and at the knees with a 4-seam fastball. 1-0 count. Drew with a tenner. Appreciate you. Another $10 holla on the Dono train. Appreciate that. 1-0 pitch. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike to Nathan Lucas. And remember, we got 3 games at home. So again, if, for example, we're not able to catch up and they don't have enough meltdowns with their pen and we drop this game. We still got 2 more games at home to get the job done. So again, take it pitch by pitch, inning by inning, game by game. And again, at some point you knew Toronto was going to wake up with their bats, just like we assumed the Brewers will wake up against Los Angeles at some point. 1-2 pitch. And that is in play, grounds out to the pitcher, and a little flip to first to Naylor, and that is out number 3. I mean, as long as we're not down by more than 5. 5 is usually the cutoff point where we can't come back from. But if we get down by 4 or 5, all it takes is a meltdown by 1 or 2 pitchers and we're right back in it. So we just have to try to limit the damage from this point moving forward and try to prevent from them getting to 10. If we can keep it around that 6-7 range the rest of the way, we might be able to get some kind of rally at some point. Let's see who's up next here for the Mariners, and we desperately need hits, RBIs, and runs. Next up, 0 for 1 with a K, first baseman Josh Naylor. Batting second, 0 for 1, third baseman Eugenio Suarez. If there was ever a time that we needed a 2-run jack, it's right now. Come on, Gino. And batting third, 0 for 1 with a K, another individual that we would love to see a Dom bomb because he hasn't done one in a minute, Dominic Canzone. Let's go, M's. Chip away. All we need to do is get this score to 6-4, and we'll be right back in business. We just got to chip away, try to get a run here, a run there, understand that they're hot right now. And obviously their backs are against the wall. They know that. And again, we stole 2 games in Toronto, which not very many people thought that we were going to do, including me. I figured we would split. And again, we're playing with house money, but we can't be too overconfident. We have to make sure that we're taking care of business. And George definitely got roughed up here today. There's no doubt about that. He has not been good today. And now it's going to be up to our bats to hopefully dig him out of the hole that he put us in. But again, we could have played Luis Castillo, and Castillo could have done the same thing, and gave up 6. But hopefully tomorrow when Castillo's on the mound, it'll be much better. It'll be more like our game 1 and game 2, starters with obviously Miller and Logan Gilbert, not a George Kirby repeat performance. Let them know, Tyler. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 300 likes, 100 on the dono train, and 50 to 100 subs. Let's go. But again, if you've been a fan of the Mariners, and you've watched our team play this year, we've seen every Mariner pitcher, starter and bullpen, look amazing. Like one of the best in the world. Electric, right? But we've also seen every starter and every bullpen guy look fucking terrible. Whether them being off and a combination of the other team being on, or, just not being good. And then the other team taking fucking full advantage like today. And he wasn't hitting a lot of the spots in the strike zone. I mean, how often are we seeing Kirby in 3-0 counts? Almost never, and obviously we saw a lot of them today. So again, when you get put in a position where you're not being able to hit the strike zone, and then you're forced at some point to throw it down the middle to try to get back into the count, then you give up those big home runs. And that's exactly what happened here today. 0-1 pitch, 1 ball and 1 strike to Josh Naylor. 1-1 pitch and grounds out to second, throw to first, and that is 1 away. Down goes Naylor. Next up is Eugenio Suarez. First pitch, low and away, 1-0 count. One-0 pitch, takes a strike swinging right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike to Eugenio Suarez. And you know what? no one predicted that this was going to happen. I mean, it was just as likely for us to be up 2-0 right now, and George Kirby pitching lights out. I mean, it's hard to say what you're going to get out of a guy when you're up 2-0 in a series. What if George is lights out and we're up 2-0 off the Julio homer and we're winning game 3 and we're up 3-0? So it's not like you can say for sure, oh, the series was never over. Like, you never knew what you were going to get coming into this game. Did we think that we were giving up fucking 6 runs? No. So anything can happen on any given day, but it definitely was not what most of us were thinking. We thought that George would be lights out, the bats would come alive, the crowd would be electric, and we would have a very good chance to win the game, if not early, but late. And again, we're down 4. We still have a chance as long as the game is not over. Just need a couple meltdowns by their bullpen. 1-2 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Eugenio Suarez. Because again, what if George was lights out today and, Julio homers and it's still 2-0 right now? We're probably scoring a few more runs. And then if we go up 3-0, then what do people say? It's not like they would come back from 3-0, but they could still make it interesting. And Suarez grounds out to third, throw to first, and that is 2 away. Next up, DHing, 0 for 1 with a K, Dominic Canzone. Let's go, Dom. We need a Dom bomb, baby. And if we can't get a Dom bomb, we need a meltdown. We need, guys to get hit, but not injured. And we need guys to get walked, to get some freebies on the bases so we can start stealing bags and getting runners in scoring position. 1-0 pitch, fouls off, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Bieber to Canzone. One pitch, fouled off, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 out. 6-2 Blue Jay lead. Yeah, I think everyone wants us to be able to obviously win at home. We want to, the best case scenario is that we would have swept them 4 games in a row and go to the World Series more than likely against the Dodgers. But the Blue Jays are putting up a fight. And, if the Mariners win, we might have to win in 5 or 6 games, maybe even 7. Who knows? But hopefully at the very least, in 5. So that way we can do it in front of our very fans that have supported us through and through. But if it, means that, pitching is off and we have to win in game 6 or game 7, really what it comes down to is long as we win, that's what matters. 2-2 pitch, fouled off, low and away. But again, winning in 5 would be great. Obviously doing it in front of the Mariner fans would be awesome. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Bieber on the mound, Canzone in the box. And again, we're going to need a few more home runs unless we can end up getting back-to-back-to-back hits, and get a good RBI situation going as well. But realistically, when you're down by 4, we are going to need a 2-run jack, a 3-run bomb, or, a solo dinger, and then a nice inning with some ribbies to kind of, chip away against this team. 2-2 pitch, fouled off with that knuckle curve. And Lucas diving into the netting and the padding. Love the effort by Lucas there. Just like, Victor Robles on the opposite side. And luckily the padding is thick enough where if you end up, sacrificing your body, you're not going to get a hip pointer or something worse. Bottom of the 4th, 6-2 Blue Jay lead. Obviously, if we can hold them to 8 runs or, less, the rest of the way, and then obviously we have to start chipping away, going from 2 to 3, 3 to 4. And then as long as we're 1 or 2 runs down, if we're not tied at that point late in the 8th or the 9th, we're going to have a chance. I mean, how many times have we seen the Mariners come back from 4 or 5 runs? And that is strike 3. And that is the end of the inning. Let's go to the top of the 5th inning and see who's up next here for the Blue Jays. go to the top of the 5th inning. Mariners down by 4. We just got to chip away. 1 2-run blast, 3-run jack gets us right back in it. Next up, 2 for 2 with a run, first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Batting second, 0 for 2 with a K, right fielder Anthony Santander. And batting third, 0 for 1 with a run and a base on ball, catcher Alejandro Kirk. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. And just like Brian said, the rallies and the hitting, it's contagious. Once we get one guy, then the belief kind of gets carried over to the next guy, and then the next guy. And then all of a sudden you look at the scoreboard and we're a lot closer than we potentially are at the moment. So you just have to have the faith that, at some point, either Bieber is going to have a mini meltdown before he exits, or the guys in the pen will have meltdowns. And if you've noticed, the Blue Jay bullpen isn't very good. So again, it's just a matter of time of waiting for Bieber to exit, and then we can hopefully capitalize. 1 or 2 runs against one guy in the pen, 1 or 2 runs against another guy in the pen, and then hopefully by the 8th or the 9th, we're down by 1 run or 2, and then we're in, kind of, striking distance to, at least be in it at that point. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 300 likes, 100 on the dono train, and 50 to 100 subs. Let's go. Yeah, but the thing is that we're one of the top teams in Major League Baseball. 50% of our total runs come from home runs. So, we live and die with a home run. And obviously ribbies are great, but usually once the home runs come, the ribbies, obviously are shortly after, or vice versa. So again, if we're going to get back into this game, we're going to have to hit at least 1 or 2 more homers realistically, unless we end up getting like a 3-run blast, and then the ribbies can happen. But at that point, we would only be down 6-5. And again, we have had some good luck hitting 3-run blasts lately. Julio and Polo last game. And another home run by Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Are you kidding me? Unbelievable. George, how dare you? And Vlad gets in on the home run party. Julio Rodriguez jumped and tried to rob that home run, but went over his glove. 7-2 Blue Jays. Unbelievable. And hopefully this is the worst, obviously, performance that we see in the ALCS. I don't want to see anything like this the rest of the series. I don't want to see anything like this in the World Series if we get there. First pitch, high and away, 1-0 count. Come on, George. One-0 pitch, low and away. 2 balls, strikes to Santander. Four innings pitched, 8 hits, 7 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 Ks, 72 pitches, 47 strikes. Christ. 2-1 pitch, low and away with that knuckle curve. 3 balls and 1 strike from Kirby to Santander. And that turns into a walk. Golly, Kirby. Next up is Alejandro Kirk. 0 for 1 with a run and a base on ball. And again, we have to make sure we keep it at 5. If it gets above 5, it's, not 100% over at that point. But again, the percentages start to go quite low, when you get down by more than 5. 5 has been the magic number for the Mariners around 4 or 5 runs, that's like the maximum we can be down by to come back, to at least tie to make it interesting, or possibly, try to win in extras if we can get to that point. But, based on what we've seen here today, very, very poor performance out of George Kirby, but also you have to give credit to the Blue Jay hitters. They had their backs against the wall. We whooped them twice in Toronto, and it just so happens that George Kirby is the pitcher that they took it out on. Could have easily been Bryce Miller today, and he did the same thing. Could have been Logan Gilbert today, same thing. And obviously we got Luis Castillo tomorrow, and we just have to pray that Luis is locked in and he's not like George Kirby here. Unbelievable. I don't think that any of us anticipated this type of outing. And I still think that we're going to have a good chance, to get to 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. But now, with them being at 7 and not knowing who we're bringing in the bullpen, we'll definitely see, who comes in. And Carlos Vargas is coming in. So essentially at this point, the way that they're managing this game is essentially that I'm not saying they gave up, but they're not really, keeping their best guys available for this game. It's pretty much they're going to wait till tomorrow and save, Spire and Brash and Bizzardo, and hopefully we don't get down like this. So we'll see what happens here with Carlos Vargas coming in. And as we know, sometimes Vargas is good and sometimes Vargas is absolutely fucking terrible. So hopefully it's the latter. But based on bringing Vargas in first pretty much tells you that they are not going to use any of their quality guys in the pen. And the problem with that is that, okay, if Carlos Vargas is bad, then it's going to continue to go up 8, 9, 10, 11, and it's really fucking over, right? But again, if you end up putting a guy that's somewhat good, like Bizzardo or Brash or Spire, and then we can keep him at 7, then we might be able to rally at some point in the next 4 innings. But again, if you continue to, bring out guys that are kind of suspect, like a Vargas or a Caleb Ferguson, they pretty much have waved the white flag, and now they're just hoping that the offense will bail them out. And we'll see what we get out of Vargas here today. Hopefully he does not have a similar outing to George. Otherwise, it's going to be 14-2 and all. All right, first pitch from Vargas to Kirk, right there on the line for a strike. But of course, do we get the call? No, we don't. 1-0 count. Top of the 5th inning, 7-2 Blue Jays with a runner at first and no outs. And again, this is the maximum amount of runs that we can be down by, and we just have to pray. And a hit right up the middle. And now we got runners at first and second with no outs. Come on, Vargas. Nice job by Alejandro Kirk. Next up is Dalton Varsho, and we need a double play, slow dribbler right up the middle. JP, throw to Naylor, and JP tried right here. It's not like he didn't. He extended Superman, but it just went a little bit out of reach. And remember, no one expected us to go 2-0 in the series. If you're a Mariner fan and you really thought that we were going to go in there and win 2 games, especially as good as Toronto has been this year, I was just hoping for a split. But when you won game 1, then everything kind of changed, right? So again, this looks bad here today, but imagine how the Blue Jay fans felt in those first 2 games, thinking that they are the better team, that they're going to the World Series against the Dodgers, and they're going to easily be up 2-0 when it goes back to Seattle. So, they're just giving us a little bit of medicine back that we already gave to them in the first 2 games. Just sucks that Kirby had to be the guy. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike looking high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Dalton Varsho. And again, no baseball fan likes to see this. We love this team, good, bad, and ugly. We go through the peaks and the valleys, and sometimes life is great, like game 1 and game 2, and sometimes it's fucking hell, like game 3 right now. But again, we just have to be able to take it pitch by pitch and hope for a little bit of a comeback and some meltdowns by the Blue Jays. 1-2 pitch, fouled off high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Dalton Varsho. Like, we might drop this game, that's a reality. We might drop this game. We're down 5, right? But we're not losing the series. popped up. Polanco is there. And that is 1 away. $185, 15 more to get to 2. We need everyone's help, not just all day and a few of the others. We got almost 400 in the room. We should be at 250 by now or a little bit higher than that. Let's go. Next up is Addison Barger. First pitch from Vargas to Barger. Cutter, low and at the knees, 1-0 count. Vargas on the mound. Addison Barger in the box. We just have to hope that our hitters can, dig us out of this hole, because obviously the pitching, is not going to do that. They're going to go with, the kind of the guys when we're down, as Randy is there, 2 away. Down goes Barger. Next up is Ernie Clement. And remember, all of it is one big swing. Again, if we get a 3-run jack and it ends up being 7-5 in 2 innings, the feeling of the game is going to be different. We hope that we don't continue to give up more and more hits and runs. But I mean, if we can get a 3-run blast and get it to 7-5, by the 8th inning, there realistically will be a chance. It's just, can we get to that point? And Ernie Clement with a hit into right field. Throw home, and there is no throw home. Throw to third, and out. And that is out number 3, but not after they score another run. And again, you can't expect Carlos Vargas to be, lights out. He's probably our worst guy in the pen, or one of the worst guys in the pen. 8-2 Blue Jays, and they are definitely throwing haymakers, and we are not ducking and getting out of the way. And now we just have to pray that the bats can come alive here within the next 3 innings so we can score 3 to 4 runs to get it to at least 8-5 or 8-6. But, based on how the pitching is going, the Blue Jays are pacing for 10 to 12 runs. Not ideal. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 1 with a K. 8-hole hitter, right fielder, Victor Robles. Batting second, 0 for 1 with a K, shortstop, J.P. Crawford. And batting third, 0 for 1 with a run, base on ball and a K, left fielder, Randy Arozarena. And remember, we are, a team that can come back. I mean, Reflect will tell you, back 3 years ago when we made the playoffs and played the Blue Jays, there was a game where we ended up being down 6, 7, 8 runs, right? And we came back and won that game like 9-8. So again, obviously the feel of that game and this game are completely different, but again, just because a team has got a huge lead, doesn't necessarily mean it's 100% over. Now, obviously it looks pretty fucking bad at this point. I mean, we're not going to deny that whatsoever, considering the pitcher that we have in, who they possibly will be bringing in after Vargas. I mean, they'll probably bring in like Caleb Ferguson, and if Ferguson comes in, he'll probably do just as bad as Vargas, and obviously Kirby, right? But again, if the bats can come alive and they can do their job in their half inning, maybe we can slowly but surely kind of chip away. And remember, the more runs that we get today will carry over till tomorrow. We don't want to end the game with 2 and them being at fucking 14. We want to make sure that we're continuing to try and face this adversity. You can really learn a lot about a team and a player when you face adversity. Not everything is going to be easy breezy cover girl like in game 1, game 2 in Toronto. Sometimes it's going to be ugly, sometimes it's going to be terrible, and you're going to have to dig out of it. So hopefully we can do that here in the next 3-4 innings. Down by 6, not ideal, and usually this is the point where there is no return. But again, a 2-run blast or a 3-run jack will get us right back in it. Can we just get to that point? Can we get a couple guys on? Are we going to have to bunt, to get a guy on, steal a bag? Who's going to be a guy that's going to be a hero? And we got plenty of guys in the lineup that are due for a home run as well. Yeah, and again with Wu, you're not going to see Wu today. If you're going to see Wu, it won't probably be until like game 5, and either it'll be Wu as a starter, or if he doesn't feel 100%, doing that with the amount of pitches, then we may see Wu get moved to the bullpen at some point at first, just to see how it feels. We don't want to throw Wu out there in game 5 and he gives up 6 runs in the first inning and then we lose. So again, you have to be very careful on when you use Wu, and if at all. We have to wait and see. 1-2 count to Victor Robles. Come on, Victor. One-two pitch and a little blooper and caught, and that is 1 away. Next up is shortstop J.P. Crawford. Bottom of the 5th, 8-2 Blue Jays. There it is. 8-1, and then we won 10-9. Right. First pitch is fouled off by JP. 0-1 count. We just need that first guy to be the hero. That first guy to get the momentum going. After Julio, got the 2-run jack, who else will help? And 0-1 pitch. Here we go. JP. And a nice hit right up the middle. Nice job, JP. Nice job, JP. Next up is Randy Arozarena. When you got a lineup like the Dodgers and the Mariners, at any given moment, things could change. Again, you can end up getting ice cold for a few innings, and then all of a sudden we could have a 5 to 7 run inning. You just never know how it will go. And once Bieber exits, I have a feeling that we will start to climb back into this game. Unless we can get a mini meltdown out of Bieber, get a little bit of damage on him, and then the next pitcher that comes in, we do our best to obliterate that individual. 2-0 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. 2 balls and 1 strike to Randy Arozarena. But you got to give Bieber credit, for a guy that obviously has been injured and hasn't played a lot. He brought his A game here today. Now, if this was the Mariner team from a few years ago, yeah, it's 100% over. When we were batting like 180 to 220 as a team, number 1 strikeout team, and we didn't have certain guys on the team like Gino and Naylor and a few others. Yeah, 0% chance a few years ago. But this individual, right here, in the box, and the rest of the team, there's always a chance. 3 balls and 1 strike to Randy Arozarena. And Arozarena grounds out into the fielder's choice at third. Crawford out at second. And that is 2 away. They went for the double play, but look at that. Randy actually hustled the first. It's a miracle. Next up is the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And if there was ever a time and a place that we needed a 2-run jack to get the score to 8-4, to give us a little bit of life, it's right now. Come on, big dumper. We need you. Unless Dumper ends up getting a walk or plunked or a hit, and then Julio goes for his second three-run bomb. Obviously, one yesterday, or actually one on Monday, and then one obviously today if he can get one. 2-run jack early in the game, but we know Julio can hit 3-run bombs, especially if Randy and Cal get on. First pitch is low and away, 1-0 count. Come on, Cal. We got Cal and Julio, and you got Cal and Julio. You have, limitless opportunities. It's just, can they get the right pitch? Can they be patient enough to find that right pitch to go yard? 1-0 pitch, fouls it off right down the middle from Bieber. 1 ball and 1 strike to big dumper Cal Raleigh. Trident's up, seize the moment. Come on, Cal. Julio on deck. And then after that, we got Jorge Polanco, Mr. October. And we're going to need Polo to step up too. We may need him to get an RBI or 2 or 3 or a big home run and some ribbies to get back in this. 1-1 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to big dumper Cal Raleigh. Yeah, but you have to realize too, with Randy and Gino, they're streaky players. So there's going to be some games where they go 0 for 4, 0 for 5, but there's also going to be games where they're going to go 3 for 5 or 2 for 5 and hit a home run or get big ribbies, and they will be a factor. Not everyone is going to be as consistent as Polo and others. Not everyone's going to be a Polo. Not everyone's going to be a Julio. Not everyone's going to be a Cal. That's why these other guys are called role players. They're not the best guys on the team. They're guys in the middle of the lineup that we hope, that can put up the numbers, but they're not going to be as consistent as our best guys. Nice catch there by Vladdy. Bottom of the 5th, 8-2 Blue Jays with a runner at first and 2 outs. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 big dumper Cal Raleigh. 2-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and down goes Cal. And that is out number 3. Nice job by Bieber. 4 let's see here. So 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 7 Ks, 79 pitches, 53 strikes. And again, we need Bieber to get out of the game so we can start raking, which was kind of a common theme for a lot of the games during the year. You got to wait for the starter to go out and just, again, who's going to lose more games, than anyone? The bullpen. So we just got to hope that we get a meltdown or 2. Gained a few more subs, 56 subs to go to 23,100. Can we get an update on the likes on where we're at now? 406 in the room. I think we're at 67, 33 to go on the Dono train. End of the 5th inning, 8-2 Toronto. Next up, 1 for 2 with a run, 2 ribbies and a K. Shortstop Andres Jimenez. Batting second, back at the top of the order, 1 for 3 with a run and a ribby. Solo dinger, George Springer. And batting third, 1 for 3 with a run and a K, left fielder Nathan Lucas. So a quick recap if you're just tuning in. Julio Rodriguez homer to left, 414 feet after Randy got walked. We got up 2-0. We were feeling pretty good, but we did not know that George Kirby was going to have the most epic meltdown of meltdowns. Then in the 3rd inning, Jimenez homered to right center with Clement on board, and that was the beginning of the end. That was a 2-run jack by Jimenez, tied up at 2-2. Then the 3rd inning, Lucas scored, Kirk to second, Guerrero to third on a wild pitch by Kirby, 3-2. Kirby never has wild pitches, but he had one today. Varsho doubled to right, Guerrero scored, and Kirk in the top of the 3rd. That made it 5-2. Springer homered to center in the 4th, 6-2. Guerrero homered to center, 7-2. And then Clement single to right. Santander scored 8-2. So it's not like it's just one guy that's doing it. Everyone on the team has got a hit except for Santander and Barger. So again, it's one of those types of games, and luckily it's not like Logan Gilbert in Philadelphia. I think a lot of us remember how that went. We just have to try to do our best the rest of the way. And again, the more runs that we score here late, it will carry over into tomorrow's game with Luis Castillo on the bump. All Day says we're at 196. We got 415 in the room. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 300 likes, 100 on the Dono train, and 50 to 100 subs. Let's go. It takes 1 second to hit that like button. Let's go. Oh, 1 pitch in play. And Jimenez with a single to left. It's going to happen. Again, regardless on what we do, Mariners or Buccaneers or Ducks or Huskies, when things go great, we're going to be in a great mood. Obviously, when the team loses, haters have nothing else better to do besides hate. And, it is what it is. When you're a growing channel, again, the bigger you get, the more trolls and haters you are going to get as well. It's kind of a part of the business. So top of the sixth, 8-2 Blue Jays. First pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle with the sinker. 0-1 count. And obviously Vargas is still out there. They don't want to waste, Brash or Spire or Bizardo. And this is the right call. I mean, imagine if we were to, bring those guys out. That would not be ideal for tomorrow's game. So, and a little blooper there by Springer. Everything going Toronto's way here today. Next up is Nathan Lucas. And, the Blue Jays are sometimes like the Mariners as well. When you end up scoring a lot of runs in the previous game, the next game, not so much. So if they end up getting this out of their system and they score 10, 11, 12, 13, there is a good chance that they will score less than 5 tomorrow. And if we can just do our job and Castillo pitches well, we might be able to win, 3-1 or, 5-3 or something of that nature. So, sometimes, this is the type of performance that you're going to get. And again, we were very lucky to go up 2-0, in Toronto. And now the Blue Jays are taking advantage of our pitching. And obviously no one is really stepping up besides Julio up to this point. And Caleb Ferguson is coming in. And we already know how bad Ferg is. You're bringing in the, Kirby pitched terrible. Vargas is probably the worst player with Ferguson. They're pretty much clone images of each other. One's a righty and one's a lefty, and they're both bad. So Vargas's day is done. And now we're going to bring in Caleb Ferguson. And it definitely shows you what they think of those guys, having them come in at this point. But, we don't want to use any of our quality guys. Got to save them for tomorrow. Caleb Ferguson coming in, and it's like if George would have had like a mini meltdown and maybe gave up like 4, we would still be in this game right now. But again, that just wasn't the case. It went from a mini meltdown to a full-blown meltdown, and then obviously we can't trust Vargas or Ferguson either. So I mean, at this point, even if we get to 5 or 6 runs before the game ends, if the pitching is going to be like this, where the hell are the Blue Jays going to be at the end of the game? Are they going to be at 10 to 14 runs? Maybe. And again, we still got the next 2 games in Seattle, right? So there's a very good chance that we could still win this if we drop this game and don't come back, which is a very good probability, and we could still try to win this in 5. And if it just so happens that we have to go back to Toronto and win it in 6 or 7, I feel confident that we can do it. But hopefully we just take care of business in game 4 and game 5, and we can win it in front of the fans. Again, that would be very special. First pitch there, and a tag there by Naylor. That brings in another run, 9-2 Blue Jays. Lucas grounds out to first. Jimenez scores. Springer to second. And again, if they're going to get all of these runs, that's, so be it. But again, if you're going to score, 10 to 14 runs this game, you're not going to do it tomorrow. So next up is Miles Straw, who's pinch hitting. And Vladdy is intentionally walked. Ferguson on the mound. Miles Straw coming in to pinch hit. Pitch is low and at the knees. 2 balls and no strikes to Miles Straw. 2-0 pitch. Takes a strike looking on the line. 2 balls and 1 strike from Ferguson to Straw. But this is baseball. Not everything is going to go our way. Again, we're going to have peaks and valleys. There's going to be ups and downs. And again, we were very lucky to win those first 2 games in Toronto. And, this is a part of the business. Some games you're going to be great. Some games you're going to steal games at the very end and win in dramatic fashion. And in other games, you're going to get your fucking ass kicked. You're going to get punched in the mouth early and often with a haymaker here, a haymaker there. And that's just what happened here today, And luckily, we don't have too many of these types of games often. It's a part of the biz. 2-1 pitch, fouled off, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Miles Straw. Top of the 6th, 9-2 Blue Jays. Two-two pitch, high and away, fouled it off into right field by Miles Straw. 2 balls and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 1 out. 2-2 pitch, and Straw strikes out swinging high and inside, and that is 2 away. Next up is catcher Alejandro Kirk, 1 for 2 with a run and a base on ball. And remember, it's not like we just kicked their ass 10-3, So again, they're pretty much just giving us back the medicine that we gave them. First game was close, and it was 3-1. Could have went either way, And luckily, we have Polo and individuals that got that job done, right? But we scored 10, And again, no one saw that coming, Especially Blue Jay fans. And now they're just giving us a little bit of that medicine back in Game 3. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking on the line. 1 ball and 1 strike from Ferguson to Kirk. I mean, it would have been the most craziest shit ever if we would have swept this team. Again, we know that we're good, but I don't think any Mariner fan really thought that would be possible. Winning 2 games in Toronto, and if we were, I know it's set up for us to potentially do it, but it's up to the players to do it, and that's another home run. And just like that, Ferguson giving up a big 3-run jack, 12-2 Blue Jays. Ay. Get it all out of your system, Blue Jays. That's fine. We're still up 2-1 in the series. And again, you get all of these home runs, you get it into your system. That's fine. You won't be scoring 12 tomorrow. Yeah, but also you have to realize, who do we have pitching also, right? We went from George Kirby, who was terrible, Vargas, who's terrible, and Ferguson, who's terrible. So it's not like we have Brash or Bizzardo or Spire, and we're actually trying to come back, and keep them at like 8 or something of that nature. When you got these shitty players, that it's going to continue to get worse, unfortunately. First pitch from Ferguson to Varsho, takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, and Varsho with a single to center. Top of the 6th, 12-2 Toronto. First pitch, low and away from Ferguson to Barger, 1-0 count. One 0 pitch, takes a strike, swinging low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Ferguson to Barger. And for all the, people that are thinking, oh, the series is over, you're not a real fan. You're not one of those people that are watching game in and game out. You're just, doing parlays or occasionally watching, not like a lot of us that watch every pitch, every game, week in and week out. Not everything is going to go your way. There's going to be games that are like this. Again, there's a reason why, you have to play these games. Sometimes it's going to be in your favor. Other times you're going to get your ass kicked. But to act like we're not going to the World Series because of this game, give me a break. Top of the 6th, 12-2 Blue Jays. This is not the elimination game. We're up 2-0 in the series. Is it an ugly look for game 3? You bet your ass it is. But it definitely will show you who actually is a true fan and who isn't. Who's here when the team is only good, and when they're bad, they're not watching. We call that bandwagon fair weather fans. There's a lot of them out there. 1-2 pitch, and fielder's choice. Barger grounds into the fielder's choice at first, and then we finally get out of the inning. All right, we're down by 10. Obviously, we're going to drop this game here today, but if we can get to 5 before the game is up, that'll hopefully carry over until tomorrow. Gain 2 more subs, 54 subs to go to 23,100. Let's see who's up next here for the Mariners. And obviously this is a shit show today, but if we can get to 5, that will carry over until tomorrow. Let's see who's up next here, and we'll also see who keeps playing hard in a bad situation. Next up, 2 for 2 with a run, 2 RBIs. He's doing his job, Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, J-Rod. Batting second, 1 for 2, Mr. October, second baseman Jorge Polanco. And batting third, 0 for 2 with a K, first baseman Josh Naylor. Oh, man. George Kirby, why did you have to do us like that? 5 runs in the third, 1 run in the fourth, 2 runs in the fifth, 4 runs in the sixth. And it also shows you how bad Vargas and Ferguson are too. So 12 runs, 14 hits. And there's a good chance that they won't do that the rest of the series. Come on, offense. I want to see, some big plays. Give me a home run here or there. Let me see a butt drop down. Let me see some stolen bags. Let me see some ribbies. Let's not end at just 2. Let's try to get to 5. And obviously 5 isn't going to win the game, of course, but again, getting to 5 would at least show that at this point with 3 innings to go that we're at least trying. First pitch from Bieber to Rodriguez. Takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. And as soon as we can get fucking Bieber out of there, that'll help too. I mean, obviously him still being in the game at only goddamn 80 pitches is not ideal. 0-1 pitch. Takes a strike swinging high and inside. No balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Yeah, very intelligent move by not using Brash or Bizardo or Spire, and you can thank George Kirby for that. He put us in too much of a hole for us to use any of our quality pieces. So sometimes you just got to wave the white flag and save your players for the games that we're going to actually win, Game 4 and Game 5. 1-2 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. And Julio almost getting hit by that pitch there. 3-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss right down the middle. Down goes Julio, and that is 1 away. Still love you, Julio. Next up, second baseman, Jorge Polanco. Let's go, Polo. First pitch from Bieber to Polo, takes a strike swinging low and at the knees with the knuckle curve. 0-1 count. Bieber on the mound, Polo in the box. And Bieber has done a great job, for a guy that was injured and then traded there at the deadline. And again, not a whole lot of expectations, I think, just hoping for the best. And obviously, Kirby having a meltdown definitely gave Bieber a little bit more confidence, as the game continued on, and knowing that we're not using any of our quality pen guys, and he's been locked in. Polo, little slow dribbler, throw to first, and hopping to first, but not making it in time, but good effort by Polo. And that's what I like to see, when things are going bad, who is still hustling, who is still running hard to first, who's not thinking about dinner tonight, who's actually thinking about, what can we do to have this carry over until tomorrow. And a great effort by Polo, even though he didn't make it in time. Randy, take notes. Next up is first baseman Josh Naylor. And there's got to be somebody in the next 3 innings that's going to hit us a homer. Somebody get a hit. Somebody get a single, a double, a ground rule double, a homer, something. And slow dribbler by Naylor. Flip to first. And that is out number 3. The Blue Jays are giving us the beatdown that we gave them on Monday in Toronto. There's no really way to go about it. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 300 likes, 100 on the dono train. And 50 to 100 subs. Let's go. Let's go to the top of the 7th inning, 12-2 Toronto. Next up, 2 for 3 with a run, RBI, and a K, second baseman Ernie Clement. Batting second, 2 for 3 with 2 runs, 2 ribbies, and a K, shortstop Andres Jimenez. And back at the top of the order, 2 for 4 with 2 runs and a ribby. Home run as well, DH George Springer. I mean, literally everyone's got a hit except for Santander that was replaced by Straw. And then Barger. So 4 hits ain't going to cut it. First pitch from Ferguson to Clement. Takes the strike swinging low and at the knees. 0-1 count with a slurve ball. Slider curve there by Ferg. Oh, 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Low and at the knees. No balls and 2 strikes to Ernie Clement. Top of the 7th inning, 12-2 Toronto. And again, no one likes to get their ass kicked. It just doesn't feel good, especially if you have passion and love for the team that you're rooting for. But again, this is a part of baseball, just like any sport. Some games you're going to blow out a team and other games you're going to be the one that gets blown out. It's just, nature of the biz. And again, the Blue Jays didn't get to this level without winning games this type of way during the regular season and obviously the playoffs. So 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball, strikes to Ernie Clement. We just have to make sure it doesn't happen in Game 4 and Game 5. We take care of business. We move on. And if that means that we have to get our ass kicked one time in a series, but we win the series, so be it. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees. Slurve ball missing by Ferguson. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ernie Clement. And also it stinks when you end up getting down early, within the first 2 to 4 innings where you kind of feel like there's no hope, and if there is hope, it's very small, but again, the bats just didn't come alive. Bieber did a great job. Kirby did not. Their hitters were on. We weren't. Their pitcher was on. Ours weren't. And sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles. But it'll be better tomorrow with Castillo on the mound. 2-2 pitch. Fouled off. Right down the middle. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ernie Clement. Yeah, and we get the next 2 games at home. So, at some point you would think that, we'll be able to get the job done. Especially for a lot of us that have been fans for 20, 30, 40 years plus, And Randy is there, and that is 1 away. Next up is Andres Jimenez. First pitch fouled off right down the middle by Ferguson. 0-1 count. Top of the 7th inning, 12-2 Toronto. Oh, 1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Andres Jimenez. And a 1-1 pitch with a little bloop single over JP's head. I mean, when it rains, it pours, right? But remember who we have in. We're not going to have Kirby, Vargas, and Ferguson play every day. Thank God, right? Next up is George Springer. And for every game that, Kirby has had a meltdown, there's been a game where Kirby has been the man. So we also have to remember that just to, unfortunate outing for George, but he has had some electric starts for us as well. First pitch from Ferg to Springer, fouls it off high and away with a slurve ball, slider curve, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, takes strike looking low and at the knees with a cutter by Ferg. No ball, 2 strikes with a runner at first and 1 out. We need a slow dribbler up the middle to JP, a throw to Naylor for a double play. But again, everything is melting right in front of our faces here. And again, when it rains, it pours. When you're having a meltdown, it feels like you're, digging that ditch and you're getting deeper and deeper. You're not able to climb out. But again, tomorrow is a new day and we can prove ourselves again. 0-2 pitch, fouled off, high and away. No balls and 2 strikes to George Springer. (0-2 pitch, low and at the knees. And Jimenez goes to second on the wild pitch from Ferguson. And hopefully Castillo will be lights out tomorrow. We can't have a repeat performance of what Kirby did today with Castillo tomorrow. And the offense needs to be a hell of a lot better. Julio did his job, but what about everyone else? It's like we got 4 hits total, right? Randy, where are you? Cal, where are you? Naylor, Gino, Dom, Robles, where are you? Right? Julio's got 2 hits. Polo's got 1. Crawford's got 1. That's not enough. Top of the 7th with a runner at second and 2 outs. Next up is Nathan Lucas. 1 for 4 with a run and an RBI and a K. Lucas on the mound, Caleb Ferguson in the box. And first pitch, Lucas grounds out to second. Throw to first from Polo to Naylor, and that is out number 3. All right, we have 3 innings to go to try to get to 5. We're at 2 right now, and let's see if we can get a run per inning or, have at least 1 inning where we get 2 or 3, to at least have some kind of life and faith going into tomorrow. Let's see who's up next. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 2, third baseman Eugenio Suarez. Batting second, DHing Dominic Canzone. And batting third, right fielder Victor Robles. And finally, Bieber is exiting, so maybe we can actually start getting something now, and they're going to bring in Fisher. All right, Braden Fisher is coming in. He's got an ERA of 10. So again, we should be able to get something on Braden Fisher at some point. Now, no one expects us to score fucking 10 runs in 3 innings, but if we can get to 4 or 5 before this game is up, that'll help. And let's look at Bieber's final line. We're not haters here. We always will show love where love needs to be given. 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 8 Ks, 88 pitches, 59 strikes. Great job by Shane Bieber. And again, 1 guy came to play, Shane Bieber, and 1 guy did not, George Kirby. And hopefully George will be able to redeem himself in the World Series. The only problem is the Dodgers are a better hitting team than the Blue Jays are. So, but you never know. Anything can happen. It's baseball. Braden Fisher coming in for Shane Bieber, and leading off for the Mariners is Eugenio Suarez. Let's go, Gino. Good vibes only. Got to make the best of a shitty situation today. Let's go. Keep fighting. Yeah. I mean, no matter what commentary is going to be on, it's always going to be most of the time anti-Mariners. You know, again, a lot of these people don't stay up late to watch West Coast baseball, and it shows. You know, again, they're always going to be riding against, you know, us most of the time. Every once in a while, if we end up doing great, you know, you might get someone to make a comment here or there. But most of these guys that are on like TBS for the National League or FS1 or Fox for the American League, you know, not a lot of them are going to be pro Mariners, and that's fine. You know, again, you know, we don't need them. You know, we have our own fan base. We're completely fine with that. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike swinging low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Eugenio Suarez. 1-1 pitch in play. And there we go. A nice single there by Gino. And again, yeah, I know we're down by 10 and this is fucking ugly as hell, but every single hit that we can get will help us going into tomorrow. That's where we have to kind of figure it. Nice job there by Gino. Next up is Dominic Canzone. And again, if we can get to 4, 5, 6 runs before it's over, at least we're fighting, you know, showing that we're not going to just roll over and die. And on top of that, Bieber's not in anymore, right? And as soon as Bieber exits, what happens? Boom, we get a hit on the first guy. Now imagine if we were able to get Bieber out by the 5th. You know, maybe the score isn't in double digits for the Blue Jays, you know, but you got to give them credit. They kicked our ass today. First pitch, low and at the knees to Dominic Canzone with a curveball, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Dominic Canzone. We could really use a Dom bomb right now. Come on, Dom. Braden Fisher on the mound. And Dominic Canzone in the box. 2-0 pitch, fouls it off right down the middle. 2 balls and 1 strike to Dominic Canzone. Two-one pitch, fouled off, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Dominic Canzone. Come on, Dom. I mean, at this point, we just want anything positive, you know, especially down by 10. And obviously, if we would have won this game tonight, you know, being up 3-0, that essentially means more than likely the series is 100% or 99.9% over. Double play, and they got it. Brutal. Canzone grounds out into the double play. Suarez out at second, 2 away. Next up is Victor Robles. First pitch, takes a strike swinging low and away. 0-1 count. Fisher on the mound. Robles in the box. Let's go, Victor. 0-1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Victor Robles. 1-1 pitch, low and away with the curveball. 83 miles an hour there by Braden Fisher. 2 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and 2 outs. 12-2 Blue Jay lead. We're absolutely getting thumped today. But again, remember, we thumped them on Monday, 10-3. So don't forget about that. You know, you can't have just a short-term memory and a long-term memory when you want to, you know. And down he goes, and that is out number 3 as he pops out to the shortstop. You know, again, it's not like we're down, 3-0 in the series, you know. We'll be just fine. End of the 7th inning, 12-2 Toronto. Especially when you're in the final 4 in the ALCS, NLCS, those teams are there for a reason. Brewers, Dodgers, Blue Jays, Mariners. Let's go to the top of the 8th, down by 10. Brutal. Next up for the Blue Jays here in the top of the 8th, first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr. 3 for 3 with 3 runs, an RBI, and a base on ball. Batting second would have been Anthony Santander, but we already had Miles Straw come in and pinch hit for him once. And let's see if they're going to bring someone else in. I think it's going to be Straw still. And then it'll be Alejandro Kirk. So we'll go Vladdy, Miles Straw, and then Alejandro Kirk. And they're bringing in Luke Jackson. All right, Luke Jackson entering the matchup and going against Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who's 3 for 3 today. Yeah. And that also includes the Dodger series against the Brewers. They won the first 2 games in Milwaukee. We won the first 2 games in Toronto. So I guess there is no home field advantage, at this point. There isn't any. The home field advantage that normally exists for the AFC, NFC championship game, that's real. But I guess in baseball, not so much, at least so far. And first pitch on Luke Jackson, Vladdy going 4 for 4. And that one gets rolled all the way back to Julio. Nice double by Vladdy. Santander obviously getting pinch hit by Miles Straw. First pitch from Jackson to Straw, low and away, 1-0 count. Top of the 8th, 12-2 Blue Jays. And remember how terrible this feels. We did that to them twice, in their building, when they are, considered to some people, maybe the favorite at that point at the beginning of the series. So 1-0 pitch, takes a strike swinging low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike to Miles Straw. 1-1 pitch, low and away with a 4-seam fastball by Jackson. 2 balls and 1 strike from Jackson to Straw. Top of the 8th, Vladdy at second with no outs. 12-2 Blue Jay lead. Two 1 pitch in play. And Straw grounds out to the shortstop. JP is there, throw to Naylor. And that is 1 away. Nice job, JP. We can always count on JP's defense. You got to find little W's in bad situations. Luke Jackson getting Straw out, and that is 1 away. Next up is Alejandro Kirk. First pitch from Jackson to Kirk. Low and away, 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour, 1-0 count. One 0 pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and no strikes to Alejandro Kirk. 2-0 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. 2 balls and 1 strike from Jackson to Kirk. Top of the 8th, 12-2, Blue Jay lead. Two-one pitch, low and away. Count now is 3 balls and 1 strike to Alejandro Kirk. 3-1 pitch, fouled off, low and away with a slider by Jackson. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Alejandro Kirk. Yeah, and remember, we easily could have, split or got down 0-2. And maybe, if we were down 0-2, maybe we win this game with our backs on the wall. Things always can be different, based on the outcomes of the previous game. So, we have to be very blessed that we won the first 2 games in Toronto, just like the Dodgers did in Milwaukee. So, and for the Dodgers to do it to Milwaukee, I wasn't really that shocked, even though Milwaukee went 6-0, but not against the players that they have now. So for them to win those 2 games didn't shock me, but Mariners winning 2 in Toronto shocked me a little bit. And I'm glad that we did, because obviously we didn't come up with it a game here as Kirk ends up grounding out, throw to first, and that is 2 away. It's baseball. Sometimes things are going to go in your favor. Other times, you're going to have meltdowns and the other team is going to be locked in. And that's exactly what happened here today. Next up is Dalton Varsho, but by not using any of our good guys in the pen, we'll be able to use them in Game 4 and Game 5, and hopefully we'll end the series. And wild pitch to Guerrero. Golly. How many wild pitches are we going to have today? But again, when you end up going with Kirby, who normally is good, but just had a terrible outing, right? And then you end up going with Carlos Vargas, who's not good, Caleb Ferguson, who's not good, and Luke Jackson, who's not good. So, shit happens. Now we got a runner at third with 2 outs. Big swing and a miss, low and at the knees. 0-1 count. Oh-2 pitch, and that is strike 3 looking. Nice job by Luke Jackson there, making a good moment out of a bad situation. Nice punch out there. And that is out number 3. Let's go to the bottom of the 8th. And for the love of God, can we get to at least 3 or 4? We've been stuck at 2 this whole time, and that was Julio Rodriguez. Can we at least get 1 more run before the game is over? I don't think that's too much to ask, but I guess at this point maybe it is. But it would be nice to get to like 3 or 4 or 5. But based off the body language of the players, a lot of them are defeated and are a little low right now. I get it, But again, at some point, you got to think about your own individual statistics, and hopefully, we can get at least somebody to hit like a solo jack, or we can go back-to-back hits. Something to at least get us to 3 or 4 before the game is up. Let's see who's up next here for the Mariners. And Rodriguez is coming in for Fisher. Bottom of the 8th, 1 for 2 with a K. Shortstop J.P. Crawford. Batting second, left fielder Randy Arrasarena. And batting third, big dumper Cal Raleigh. All right, Yariel Rodriguez is coming in. First pitch takes a strike, swinging high and away, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch popped up, and you got 3 Blue Jay defenders coming in, and that is out number 1. Miles Straw with a good defense there. And JP Crawford flies out to left, 1 away. Next up is Randy Arosarena. On deck is big dumper Cal Raleigh. If I went to a game, I wouldn't do a stream at the game because you don't want to be that annoying guy being loud while everyone else is enjoying the game with their friends, family, and their kids. So obviously it would be, if I had a special area, designated from the Mariners specifically, like in my own little area to do it, that would be a different question, but if I'm in the stands, there's no way I would do that. I wouldn't want to be that annoying guy, where some people may know who I am, some people don't. And, you just want to be able to enjoy the game. But again, if you had a special designated area, where it's just me and I'm not really around, necessarily certain people like in regular seating, then, that might be a different story. Plus the internet connection, when you go to stadiums sometimes is spotty. When you go to, either, Seahawks or Mariners or Kraken or Blazers, depending on your network, you may be able to have a good signal, but sometimes not so much. Pitch is outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arosarena. 2-2 pitch, low and away. Count now is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes from Rodriguez to Arosarena. Bottom of the 8th, 12-2 Toronto. And there we go. Randy, back. See ya. That's what I'm talking about. There we go. Solo dinger by Randy. And again, when Randy ends up, going to Randy land, hopefully that'll carry over until tomorrow. And again, we could have just rolled over and, got nothing. But for Randy to do that, especially with his suspect ground ball defense and left, that's big. Because again, you might not think it's big here because yes, we're going to lose this game. But if Randy can get hot late, maybe that'll turn into a home run tomorrow, or maybe a single, double, triple, ground rule double, so something positive. You have to have a positive mindset. Nice job, Randy. Next up is big dumper Cal Raleigh. First pitch, low and away with the strike looking, 0-1 count. I mean, if we just didn't have to go through Bieber, for so many innings, maybe, it would have been still an L, but maybe a little bit more respectable, Maybe it could have been like 7-3, instead of 12-3. But obviously they knew what they were doing, protecting the bullpen and bringing out Vargas and Ferguson and Jackson, our 3 worst. They didn't want to waste any of our good talent, based on a game that we are going to lose. So pitches low and away, 1 ball and 1 strike to big dumper Cal Raleigh. And Cal hits it long and deep. Oh, and another home run, baby. Let's go. And Cal giving you a little magic, and it shows you no matter what, even when we're down, we'll still fight. Randy with a homer going to Randy land. Big dumper dumping it on the Blue Jays. Back-to-back homers. We love that. Big dumper and Randy. 12-4 Blue Jays. And again, the sports gods listen. They said, hey, O-Dog wants us to get to 4 or 5. We're going to lose, and that's fine, but let's show that we're still fighting. And just like that, back-to-back homers by Randy and Cal. Nice job. Beautiful. And again, that can carry over until tomorrow. We might lose the game, but we're not losing the war. Remember that. Next up is Julio Rodriguez. 1-0 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and no strikes to Julio Rodriguez. We might have lost the battle today, but we're not losing the fucking war. Bottom of the 8th, 12-4 Mariners. I wish. 12-4 Blue Jays. But again, very proud of Randy and Cal of connecting, and it shows you all it takes is one meltdown from a pitcher or two. As soon as we can get that starter out, unless we have a meltdown on him, and anything is possible with this team. Even when you're getting drilled and you're down by fucking 10, we're able to be down now by 8. Great job. 2-0 pitch, takes a strike looking, low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to Julio Rodriguez. Can we get one more run? I know that might be asking too much. I wanted us to get to 4 or 5. We got it. So I'm glad the sports gods are listening. And a 2-1 pitch, and Julio flies out deep to center, and that is 2 away. But I'm very proud of Randy taking us to Randy land. Great job, Randy. And I'm very proud of Cal adding another home run to his total. Great job. And obviously, we could use those home runs tomorrow, but that doesn't mean that they can't hit one tomorrow or have big plays tomorrow. Next up is Leo Rivas. Let's go, Leo. First pitch takes a strike looking from Rodriguez to Rivas. 0-1 count. Let's go, Leo. Love ya. Oh, 1 pitch, fouled off, high and inside. No balls and 2 strikes to Leo Rivas. Let's go, Leo. Oh, 2 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Leo Rivas. And I know, obviously we got obliterated today, but those back-to-back homers, definitely gave us a little bit of juice, and again, you have to look at, a situation overall, and then you got to find little W's, when things are going bad. And again, great job by Randy and Cal getting the job done. Let's see if we can get 1 or 2 more people to do something similar. 1-2 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Rodriguez to Rivas. Big shoe stack by that guy. He might have had everyone's shoe in that, next to him on the left side and the right side. Looked like there was about 4 or 5 shoes there. That guy was committed. He actually tied the shoe to his head. And that is strike 3 on the 2-2 count to Leo Rivas. And down goes Leo, but not after. Randy takes us to Randy land, and Cal dumps one on the Blue Jays. Nice job by Cal, and a nice job by Randy Arosarena. 12-4 looks a hell of a lot better on the scoreboard than 12-2 or 12-0. Am I right? It's like when shit is going bad and sideways, anytime you can get closer to 4 or 5, it feels a little bit better, All right, let's go to the top of the 9th, and let's not give up any more runs, and let's see who's up next. Next up, 0 for 4, third baseman Addison Barger. Batting second, 2 for 4 with a run, RBI, and a K. Second baseman Ernie Clement. And batting third, 3 for 4 with 2 runs, 2 ribbies, and a K. And a 2-run blast early in the game to tie it after Julio went yard, Andres Jimenez. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 300 likes, 100 on the dono train, and 50 to 100 subs. Let's go. And shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Keep fighting, Mariners. Keep fighting. And I assume that we're just going to continue to go with Luke Jackson. There's no reason why we would go any other direction, at this point. Make sure we're saving all our able bodies for game 4 and game 5. So Trident's up, seize the moment, go Mariners. All day, every day. First pitch from Jackson to Barger, low and away, 1-0 count with the curveball. And congratulations, Blue Jays. You did great today. We don't have to be haters or in denial mode. They kicked our ass today, and that happens sometimes. Just like we kicked their ass in game 2, 10-3. They gave it right back to us. And again, it's kind of crazy that every road team has won every game in the ALCS and NLCS up to this point, but that's going to change tomorrow. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Jackson to Barger. 1-1 pitch, back, see ya! And Barger says, you know what? I'm going to hit a home run before I leave. And that makes it 13-4 Blue Jays. How dare they? After we hit 2 home runs late, Barger says, I want to get on the board. How dare you, Addison? Nice job by Barger, bringing a little bit more electricity. When we just tried to come back from 12-4, when we were at 12-2, they said, nope, we're scoring 13. Well, might as well get them all here today, so there's less tomorrow. Next up is Ernie Clement. First pitch, grounds out to third, and that is 1 away. Next up is shortstop Andres Jimenez in the top of the 9th with 1 out. But again, when you're going with our 3 worst guys in the pen, right? Vargas, Ferguson, and now Luke Jackson, home runs are going to happen, And Jimenez in play and lines out to center. Julio is there. That's 2 away. Nice job, Julio. You're the man. Next up is George Springer, 2 for 5 with 2 runs, an RBI, and a K. Yeah, where are we at, TJ, on the likes? Did we get to at least 200? I hope so. 19 to 250. There we go. And Springer in the gap. Of course, he gets another hit. And it really does show you the difference between good and elite pitchers and pitchers that are bad. It's like when you get bad pitchers out there, everyone's hitting. Not just the good players on the other team, but everyone. So, it definitely gives some experience for the guys like, Ferg and Vargas and Jackson, but not the experience that we need at this point. Next up is Nathan Lucas. First pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. Shannon in the building. What's good? Top of the ninth, 13-4 Toronto with a runner at first and 2 outs. Jackson on the mound and Nathan Lucas in the box. Slow dribbler, and Jackson has it and tags Lucas for out number 3. All right, we got back-to-back homers for Randy and Cal. Can we get one more? Can we get one more run? Either by a home run, or just an RBI with back-to-back-to-back hits, something of that nature. Let's find out. See if we got anything left in the gas tank here to get us to 5. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 3 with a K. First baseman, Josh Naylor. Batting second, 1 for 3, third baseman, Eugenio Suarez. And batting third, 0 for 3 with 2 Ks, DHing Dominic Canzone. And a few more subs, 53 to go to 23,100. Let's go. Ten hits in 5 innings. That would be great. Bottom of the ninth, 13-4 is a hell of a lot better than 13-2 or 13-0. Yeah, it's an L, but it definitely will look better on the stat sheet. And also getting some, home runs and big hits late, hopefully will carry over until tomorrow, in the matchup. That'll be a very fun game to be able to call tomorrow for game 4. Bottom of the ninth, 13-4 Toronto. And Harry Ford getting a chance to get a chance out there. Love that. And first pitch, and Harry Ford with a single to center. Maybe we should have Harry Ford be our DH rather than Dom. Nice job, Harry. Let the king play. Let the king play. Nice job, Harry. Next up is Gino, Eugenio Suarez. Let's see if Gino has a little bit of magic left here. Mason Fluharty into the game now. First pitch from Fluharty to Gino, high and away, 1-0 count. Fluharty on the mound. Gino in the box. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking high and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike from Fluharty to Gino. Naylor ended up having Harry Ford pinch hit for him, and he got a single. So Naylor will not be batting anymore the rest of this game. Bottom of the ninth, 13-4 Toronto with a runner at first and no outs. 1-1 pitch fouled off, high and inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Eugenio Suarez. Come on, Gino. 1-2 pitch, fouled off high and inside. Jams him and it goes into right field. Bottom of the ninth, 13-4 Blue Jays, runner at first. Harry Ford with no outs. Fluharty on the mound. Suarez in the box. 1-2 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. Count still remains 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at first and no outs. Scherzer on the mound tomorrow. Luis Castillo for the outs. One-two pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Eugenio Suarez. Come on, Gino. Give us a little magic. 2-2 pitch, fouled off, low and at the knees. Sweeper there by Mason Fluharty. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first. Harry Ford with no outs. See if we can get 1 more run. Unless, obviously, we get someone to hit a home run and we get 2. That's best case scenario to get to 6. But, even if we can get to 5, that would be great. Gino's got the beard and stash going. He might need to shave that. We're not in November for No Shave November. 2-2 pitch, high and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Eugenio Suarez. Let's see if Gino can force the walk here or make a big play. Definitely not the game that we expected, but it is what it is. Luke Raley and Ben Williamson are on the taxi squad, so like emergency, guys and whatnot, because we had to bring up Wu and Miles Mastroboni instead. So you're not going to see Ben get any chances to hit, unfortunately, or play D. 3-2 pitch and big swing and a miss by Gino, high but in the zone, and that is 1 away. Down goes Gino. And we're getting Mitch Garver to hit for Dominic Canzone. All right, let's see what Mitch Garver has up his sleeve. First pitch, high and away. 1-0 count. Come on, Mitch. Bottom of the ninth, runner at first, Harry Ford. And we got Mitch Garver in the box. Come on, Mitch. And a wild pitch there, and Ford to second. We'll take that by Mason Fluharty. Bottom of the ninth, runner at second, Harry Ford, with 1 out. Nice to be able to see Harry get some experience there. And let's see if Mitch Garver can come up with something. Fluharty on the mound, Garver in the box. 2-0 pitch, and pops up, and it's fading and caught, and that is 2 away. All right, potentially our last individual in the box here today. Let's see if we got any magic left for Victor Robles. First pitch in play, line drive, toe tap on the bag, and that is out number 3. Final score, Toronto Blue Jays 13, Seattle Mariners 4. And remember, it could have been 13-2, which looks a hell of a lot worse on the score sheet at the end. And great job by Randy and Cal to get us homers late. And hopefully that'll translate into homers or big plays like RBIs tomorrow. And again, just sad that Kirby, played this way. So that way, obviously, they kind of raised the white flag and, let guys like Vargas and Ferguson and Luke Jackson come in. But you got to give credit to the Blue Jays. No one thought we would win 2 games in Toronto, and we did. And obviously, the Blue Jays finally found their rhythm against George Kirby and our shitty pen. And again, we may not see those guys the rest of this series. So think of that. And we're going to get the job done in Game 4 and Game 5 here in Seattle at home. And I will be live tomorrow, obviously, same time, same place. And hope to guys, hope to see you guys obviously tomorrow. And again, some games are going to go in our favor, like Game 1 and Game 2, and others are going to be like this, obviously, in Game 3. But I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. Enjoy the rest of your night. Don't let this loss affect the rest of your night or tomorrow. We'll be right back at it. And again, we might have lost the battle, but we're not winning. We're not losing the war overall. Love you guys, and I appreciate you guys. And I got one question for you. Who talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan. Final score, Blue Jays 13, Mariners 4. And we'll be back at it tomorrow. Tridents up. Seize the moment. Go M's.